The Gators lost 38-7 to Kentucky. I wasn't gonna do this video. I was gonna let this one go, but uh, I have something to say. What's going on, everybody? My name is Daniel Augustin. This is Multi-AF. Let me just hop right in. I'm gonna react to a video in just a bit here. I'm gonna react to a video of a post-game press conference, but first, let me just look at the numbers. 38-7 is just so unacceptable. DJ Lagway gets outplayed by Cutter Boley, a freshman, if I'm not mistaken. Cutter Boley goes 18-23. It's pretty remarkable. 168 yards, so it sounds like just a steady pace of offense, not necessarily a bunch of big plays, a flurry of big plays or anything like that. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. DJ Lagway, on the other hand, 11 of 19 for 83 yards. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Jaden Baugh had 17 carries for 64 yards. I remember seeing him check out of the game in the fourth quarter. One of the main things I kept thinking to myself was, this is a game where it's official to a bunch of those guys that they're not returning. A bunch of those guys are not coming back. A bunch of those guys are not going to be wearing that same jersey next season. Things just are too messy. College football allows for so much more opportunity with your time on the field. I find it beyond interesting that the wide receiving room always seems to just have guys with boots on, guys who are injured, and guys who didn't play the necessary, if I'm not mistaken, 4 games so that you can redshirt. I think it's become too much of a trend, guys going on IR. Way too much of a trend. Are guys picking and choosing, deciding when they want to play and if they want to play because they don't know? Like Trey Wilson not playing in this game, what was that? What is that? I mean, you were just playing in the last game. You were fully healthy. You were the spotlight of the offense. Do guys not want to waste their eligibility?
Yes, there was a report that Tank opted out. Is that true? And
Tank asked. Tank came up to very professional. Came up and asked if he could preserve his red shirt, and absolutely. I said I 100% honor it, and so at this point, yes.
Personally, and I can continue going through these stats, but personally, I feel like, these guys don't want to play with DJ Lagway. He doesn't have a voice. He's not coming off as a leader. I've read blogs and Reddits about how, people, I can't confirm any of it, but I've heard that there is tension in that locker room. Guys feeling some kind of way about Lagway and his NIL opportunities, despite the fact that he's not putting in nowhere near as much work as other people. He's the one who's getting touted as a preseason Heisman candidate. And guys are there like, we don't see that. We don't know that that's the case because we don't barely see this guy in the facility putting in the work. Like I said before in one of my previous videos, at the end of the day, I don't care what the injury is. You could always be putting in some work. You could always be doing something at the facility. You could always be linking up with your guys, watching tape. None of his injuries have sounded serious enough to me to where you just happen to show back up 10 days before the season. He looks sloppy. He doesn't look like he's actually working out, or I don't see any kind of transformation of any kind. I don't see some kind of physically gifted creature. I see a big guy. He's almost playing like he's Ben Roethlisberger or something like that, but he's more athletic than that. So it's like, what are we getting out of him here? I think he has, I hate to say regressed, but he never really got better. I think when he came in his first season, he just was on pure adrenaline mode, and I think he was a lot more locked in because he didn't have all them NIL deals, and I think he got what he needed out of the situation. He's in the microwave generation where you can get all of the results you want to get, boom, right away. So as soon as he gets out of high school, he's playing for one of the premier colleges in all of college football, and he gets a chance to play against Miami like 3 games in because of an injury. So I think he almost has fulfilled his own football dreams, and for him to do more and become a better player, he needs this moment, actually, unfortunately, but he's going to need this right now so that he figures out what do I need to get better on? What happened? That's one of the main reasons why I want John Gruden over there, because I feel like that's a coach I feel will be able to hold him accountable. But the new coach might have to come in and move Lagway out because of the fact that if you have the assumed voice in the locker room, the leader of this team tag that the media is giving you, that it seems like you're supposed to have because you're in that position, so you're supposed to have it, but you only really get to have it based on the work that you're putting in, then what's that going to do when I need to have the voice in the locker room? What's that going to do when I need to push you, but you're not pushing yourself? These guys are going to look at me as if I'm a fraud as far as being the coach. So he might need to go. There are other quarterbacks out there. I don't know much about Tramel Jones. I hope to see more of him. To be quite honest, I hope Tramel starts in the next game. I don't really want to see any more of DJ Lagway. I think he's lost his voice. I think he's lost his confidence. And I think he needs a coach who can really come in there and push him. He might end up transferring. It's unfortunate. I think if he stays, he'll have one of the greatest stories in all of Florida Gator lore because of the fact that he came on so strong, had such a bad sophomore year. We've never seen anything like that before. If he turned it around his junior year and became the person that we all believed he could be. But ultimately, I do believe that those guys don't want to play with Lagway. These are my conspiracies. I try to, verify what I can verify online, but I can't verify everything. I can barely verify much of what my opinions are, but I have strong opinions, and I believe these opinions are substantiated enough for me to share them. And I think you can watch these guys on the field and you can see these things. I think you can watch the press conference and you can see these things. I think if you've been there, you've seen behind the curtain before and you've played the game, you understand it as well. If you understand the politics of the game, you understand it as well. If you understand human nature and how guys respond to each other when there's a pecking order, there's a hierarchy, but we're losing. You understand like the differences between Michael Jordan and Gary Payton. Gary Payton was my favorite player growing up. Michael Jordan and Gary Payton kind of led the same way. Pushy, loudest voice in the room, bully. But the Bulls were winning championships. Not just winning games, but winning championships. So those guys got in line. Versus a guy like Gary Payton, where a lot of that stuff ended up becoming beef with guys because they didn't win enough for it to feel like you can talk to us that way, or you can act that way, or you can not show up at practice on, or you could, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think there's something going on with Lagway and those guys. There's chemistry there that's not working out. Wouldn't be surprised personally if Billy Napier brought Lagway in because of how successful Lagway was at high school. Kind of seemed like he was always in control of things, and I think Lagway didn't necessarily do his work to go the extra mile in college, and it's showing. Majority of his interceptions, he's late on. He's throwing a bad throw because he's late on it. He didn't play it with anticipation. He finally sees it, and now he's trying to make the throw. It's something that you would see in high school from a guy with a big, strong arm who can make up for the fact that he saw it late because he's got a big, strong arm, and he's going up against kids who are just kids, and they're not really able-bodied SEC opponents like he's facing now. I'm going to jump into this video with Billy Gonzalez, and I just want to see if there's anything that he says here that, is useful to help understand what's going on over there right now.
What went in the decision to bench DJ at halftime?
Well, that was my decision. I think we had a rough first half, and I thought it might be good for him to just have a chance to gather and take a look at it from a coach's point and a coach's view from the sideline. But yeah, well, we need to play better all the way around, not just him. Everybody needs to play a little bit better, and I'll take the blame on everything for everything. I think if you take a look at what we do and where we need to be, it's unacceptable, and I'm going to put me up in front and say that's on me. I'll take the blame for this loss 100%. So we got to be better, and we've got to be better. I've got to be better. Make sure these players can continue forward.
Is DJ the starter?
I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. You got to keep it a buck. That's what I want to hear from every single head coach. When the team plays bad, that's on you. You don't get out there and talk bad about the guys. That's what I expect to hear from the quarterback. When the team plays bad, that's on you. You're the guy who's the signal caller. You're the guy who touches the ball on every single play on offense. You're the guy who sets the defense up with good field position or bad field position. You're the guy who has a lot more to do with that than everybody else on the field. So you're responsible. So handle that with care, and guys will respect you a lot more when they see you in the locker room or they see that clip and they're able to say, yeah, man, all right, cool, man, cool. It ain't on me. And then you got to show up to work and you got to do the work. You have to be a leader. Guys have to smell it on you. Guys smelled that on Tebow. None of these guys don't see that in Lagway. I think he's just going along to get along. Everything's too easy for him right now. He kind of needs to run into a disaster. He's going to need to shake things up. Things need to be shaken up in his life. It's been too easy. And he hasn't taken advantage. He's taken advantage of what he's received, but he has not. But he's taking it for granted. If he doesn't come back in his junior year a completely transformed player, in better shape, in more control, in full control of what's going on the field, he should spend his entire year, the entire off season, with whoever this new head coach is, going over all his bad film and watching film on football players, NFL football players, players that he can learn from. Starting to already install offenses and looking at things and what the game plan is going to be. Talking to his wide receivers, figuring out who's staying, who's leaving, getting on the field with his guys. Even if the guy says he's leaving, get him on the field just so that guy can feel the energy again of what may be. But that literally starts in-house. That should start with the quarterback, with Lagway. People don't think about this, but the quarterback really is like Papa. Papa. The quarterback's almost like the big brother of all of the kids, and the coach is Pop. The coach is the dad, and the quarterback is the older sibling who's allowed to watch everybody at the house. He's young too, but he's allowed to watch everybody. He's allowed to make calls. He's allowed to decide, you know what, we'll put that in the oven, but I'll watch it. I'm going to make sure this, that, and the third. That's got to be the quarterback. We don't have that right now, and that's why the team looks like that. We should never lose to Kentucky 38-7. That should never happen. That's the most. I couldn't believe it. You know, my mind is all over the place. I didn't even start the video saying that, I don't think, because it's just the most shocking loss, and I couldn't believe how it kept getting worse. I couldn't believe how the score kept getting further and further apart. Couldn't believe how Kentucky just took control of the game. Kept control of the game, and Florida couldn't stop them on defense. Florida couldn't stop them on offense. We fight it with each other. This is a game that you almost could expect to have happen when you got the interim coach in there, though. You know, this guy comes off as a soft-spoken, well-respected guy in the program, but not a guy who's in control of the program. This is a guy who was in control of a small subsection, the small position group. His office is probably like literally 600 to 800 square feet, just so it could fit his guys, his wide receivers, and so they could watch film. But he doesn't run the facility. He doesn't run that place. He doesn't run the football facility. He's got a small voice in the room. And now he's the head coach. For guys to play for that guy, they should have already felt that guy was the guy the whole time. Marcus Freeman type shit. Let's keep going real quick.
Thoughts on how it kind of unraveled? Because, you know, the first quarter, it's kind of a 7-3 game, and then obviously the turnovers were just kind of crucial.
Yeah, you have four turnovers in the first half. You're not going to win the game. You've lost time, you know, especially when you're playing a team that takes up so much time of possession early on. We started off offensively. I thought we did a decent job coming out. We came back, but we started off moving the ball. Then we had an interception. Obviously, fourth drive, we had a fumble. Came back, sixth drive, another interception. The seventh drive, another interception. So, if you don't take care of the ball, you're not going to win the game. So we did a poor job taking care of the ball. They did a really good job rushing the ball, and obviously we didn't get off the field on third downs. They didn't punt at all. So, like I said, I'll take the blame for everything.
How do you think Tramel handled it? only a single game, but to.
Wow. Bro, we lost to Kentucky, bro. We lost to Kentucky. Kentucky plays people hard, but Kentucky's not the team that should beat you. Kentucky's the team that should give you a wake-up call. They just spanked us. They just spanked us. They just destroyed us. They just ran through us. We lost to Kentucky, bro. This is unacceptable. Interception, fumble, interception. How does that happen? So Kentucky's like LSU, is what you're saying? They don't turn anybody else over like that, but they get to play Florida, and that's what we're doing? Is it timing? Is it Lagway not getting time with these receivers since he's normally with Trey and everybody else, and since everybody's happens to be injured? Is that what it is? 3 interceptions in 4 possessions? How does that happen? From a guy who did what he did in high school to what he's doing now, there's a certain internal quality that comes with the position of being quarterback. And that internal quality is leader. Leader. You have to be a leader. You literally have to control the game. You are the conductor, so to speak. Or the coach is the conductor and you are the soloist, so to speak. Throw the analogy out. It's not working. If it's not working for you, it's not working. I know what I'm trying to say, though. I am still under the impression that DJ Lagway is a very talented quarterback and can absolutely be a successful quarterback at the University of Florida. Everybody saw it that first year. Everybody has heard about what he's done in high school. He is a very talented deep ball thrower. He is a very talented thrower of the football in general. He does not have the right person behind him. And you know what's more important than that is he has to be willing to do the work. So he has to be willing to be challenged by the right person. The wrong coach can get in there and just straight up be like, you suck, get out of the program. You suck, go ahead and leave. I challenge you to do this. And Lagway refutes it, you suck, leave. And it could just end up being a situation like that. That's what happens when it's not a coach who recruited you. But a coach who comes in and who understands that they need to come in and try to understand, but that they need to balance that with getting your ass in line. That's the challenge. That's what needs to happen here for Lagway to work at the University of Florida. He's got to accept the fact that he's been fucking up. I don't have the stats here in front of me anymore, but he's probably thrown more interceptions this season than touchdowns. Come on, dog. Preseason Heisman? Where they do that at? Did all of the preseason Heismans this season just say, I'm going to just mail it in? Because Cade Klubnik, Lenora Sellers, DJ Lagway, and Drew Aller, all 4 of them started this season on the preseason Heisman list, and they all playing like trash. They all played or are playing like trash. Neither one of them can compensate for their team's weaknesses because maybe they're all still living in last season's success or lack of success or what have you. And maybe they're thinking that they're going to have the same success they had last year. And maybe to some degree they have an arrested development. I do absolutely believe DJ Lagway has an arrested development. I think he's still stuck in high school. Dog, preseason Heisman? Where they do that at? Did all of the preseason Heismans this season just say, I'm going to just mail it in? Because Cade Klubnik, Lenora Sellers, DJ Lagway, and Drew Aller, all 4 of them started this season on the preseason Heisman list, and they all playing like trash. They all played or are playing like trash. Neither one of them can compensate for their team's weaknesses because maybe they're all still living in last season's success or lack of success or what have you. And maybe they're thinking that they're going to have the same success they had last year. And maybe to some degree they have an arrested development. I do absolutely believe DJ Lagway has an arrested development. I think he's still stuck in high school. This is a very dark time in Florida football for sure. You want to fire the coach, you're going to have to deal with the muck. You're going to have to deal with the cleanup. Time and time again when I was young, every time I was cleaning my room, I always noticed the room got dirtier before it got cleaned. Everything had to come up from underneath the bed first before I can actually sweep and clean the bed. And I had to stop and look at all this trash on the floor like, where was all this? Look at all this dust. It's hard to watch. They didn't have to lose like that. They don't have any pride right now. They don't have any pride to wear the jersey. They don't have any pride to be there. You got guys that bled for that team. I mean, that school is a special school. That jersey is a special jersey. And they just, maybe this is one of the difficult things to deal with moving forward when it comes to NIL is some people aren't going to appreciate their opportunities because that scholarship was everything. And they still had to grind for the other stuff. But they at least knew, hey, man, my livelihood so far is taken care of. But now you got an NIL deal with Red Bull. You got an NIL deal with Jordan. You got an NIL deal with so-and-so and so-and-so, and you're making $1 million or $2 million. You took care of your family. You feeling like you kind of have been able to do the thing that you thought you was going to be able to do, and even though you're struggling, etc., hard to dig in. Hard to dig in. One thing I can say is Lagway needs this, unfortunately, and he's the only one who needs this. The Gator faithfuls, the fans, they don't need this. They don't deserve this. They don't deserve this. They're some of the most loyal fans in the entire world. And they don't deserve to have to watch the product that's been put on the field by way of the coaches, by way of the players. I don't know how to go about being a coach who recruits football players who are more than just talented, but they're leaders, and they're leaders that you can see are going to be disciplined for the time to come. Not just that day when you're talking to them where they want to get that scholarship from you and it's just going to make them feel good about themselves. It's going to allow them to stroke themselves. It's going to allow them to create some PR out there and be like, I've been offered by Florida. I got 4 offers. No, you can, like, it's a tough thing. One day I want to have a conversation with, a college football recruiter or head coach about how they can sometimes see the difference between just a guy who's talented versus a guy who gets it as it pertains to the long game. The guy who recruited Jeremiah Smith, how did you know? What happened in the conversation for you to know? Because there was somebody who commented on one of my videos and they said that DJ Lagway hoodwinked us, Florida Gators fans. I don't think that's necessarily correct. I don't think he thought about stealing from people. Maybe he thought about getting an NIL deal. I don't necessarily know that he thought about getting money and getting comfortable. But one thing we can say is he did not put in the work. I don't give a... I be trying to be clean. I be trying to clean up my language a little bit, But I don't care about what kind of injury you had. Even if you had a broken wrist and couldn't throw, what are you doing with your mind to understand and see the game? Because the interceptions this man is throwing are out of this world, unacceptable. He's putting out tape right now that could scar his future NFL career. He's putting out tape right now that can keep him from getting a good scholarship depending on the next school he's trying to go to. This boy might end up in a group of 5 school, not just Big 12 or ACC. He might go to group of 5, dog. That's how bad he's playing. Everybody's watching this tape. What I do know is you can be better. You can be better, but you need to want to be, and you need to want to be enough to where you're doing the work on your own, and you're going and you're finding the work that you need to do. You found that work. You created that plan for yourself. You gave yourself this game plan. You talked to your coach, and y'all together came up with this plan here so that you can be a better quarterback, and you can cut out the interceptions, and you can 10x the touchdowns. If guys see that you got that work ethic, I'm telling you, guys get behind you, and guys want to ride with you. They'll ride for you. They'll block for you. They'll dive for you. But instead, they're seeing somebody who's getting all of this praise, who people in the media are even making excuses for sometimes, blaming it on the coaches. And the coaches are responsible. But we as players, we're still more responsible than anything else. We're still responsible for how we show up. If Lagway showed up and said, hey man, this is why I feel like this can be good for him. Because this just might wake him up and show him that he can't just pull up to the stadium 10 days before the fucking first game of the season and really just be ready for the season. What a sad performance. That's the type of game that makes it hard to say that that's your favorite team. That's the type of game that makes people want to check out and just be like, I can't watch this. It damn sure made me say I can't talk about this. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe it.